Hey, what's up? It's Bill the Universe, and I'm going to do the birth chart of Ayo Edibiri. That's the best I can say her name. I'm so sorry. But yeah, let's get started. So this is Vedic astrology. She is a Virgo sun. She is a I think she's Capricorn moon, and she's a Cancer moon. I mean Cancer ascendant. So again, this is Vedic astrology. She's a Hasta moon. I mean, she's a Hasta sun. She's an Uttarashada moon, and she's a Pushya ascendant. This already off the bat is a very cardinal type of chart. It's a very go-getter type of chart. It's very, very intelligent as well. It's very self-possessed. It's very high morals. It's very like foundational, very much standing on your own 2 feet, very much putting in a lot of hard work, very much being sober minded, very much putting in the hours. It's just very focused, and it's not even it's not hyper, like it is intelligent, but it's not like this hyper energy or hyper intelligence or hyper anything. It's just a good amount of everything. It's like it's a lot of heart too. This is a interesting chart because you would be, what guy would be so good with this girl, like romantically? Andrew Garfield. Because Andrew Garfield's chart kind of complements this chart really well. Both of them have their moon in Uttara Ashada. That's a star in Capricorn. And this is the most masculine placement you can make someone. You could put in someone's chart is give them an Uttara Ashada moon. This is part of why a lot of the men are kind of perpetually single. They're like bachelors, and Andrew Garfield is a bachelor. You know who else is Uttara Ashada moon? That's a man is Tosh.0. Like he always had that bro fraternity vibe. And he has a wife and child, but he still like acts that way. And in a way, like they kind of still have their independence. This is like that same energy for this young lady. And it's interesting because she's a Hasta sun. Hasta is Virgo. That's the most feminine sign. So on the surface, and she's a Pushya ascendant. That's interesting. She's a Cancer ascendant. So she's a Virgo sun and a Cancer ascendant. Those are very pretty. Those are very dainty. Those are very feminine energies. So on the top, it'll be that way. But inwardly, she's actually very tough. She's very strong. She's very high mind. Why do I get the feeling that she gets this from like the women in her life? Like all the women in her life are just very, very proud, learned, intelligent, independent, very strong, very headstrong too. Yes. Is she a director? Because first of all, I do see writing in her chart. She's a Hasta sun. Hasta people, they're just writers. They do. I mean, it's Virgo, right? So Mercury. I mean, yeah, Mercury rules writing. Mercury rules the intellect, the speech, and rules the hands too. And so, anything Mercury touches will can bless you with good hands. And so it's up to you what you do with those hands. But some people are thieves actually, especially this nakshatra hasta. But anyway, that's one thing to do with your hands. But mostly they're good writers. And Ariana Grande is a hasta moon, and Cardi B is a hasta sun. There's this one female poet that a lot of people really like, and I like her too. She looks like she's Middle Eastern, and she's a really pretty, and she's a Hasta native. She's a poet. I'm a Hasta moon myself, and I used to be a songwriter when I was a kid. I write every day. I write in my journal. Like they're just writers. So Hasta, I can definitely see writing in her chart. But here's the thing: she has Rahu conjunct her Mars. People who have Rahu conjunct their Mars, they work with technology. So you can see these people being like YouTubers, because that is a way of like using technology and mixing technology and creativity. Because Rahu is like illusion. Rahu likes to create. Rahu likes to put on a show, design clothes, do something like that. And then you're putting it with Mars, which is your planet of your like energy, where you actually expend your energy. So, I've definitely seen, and I did a study on like the most successful YouTubers or the most popular YouTubers, and I looked like at 100 of their charts, and a big pattern was this placement of Rahu conjunct Mars, and those people I feel like are good at using technology, especially hardware like computers, cameras, stuff like that. And you know what else? I also say directing, one, because she's an actress and she's in that field, but also because Michael B. Jordan also has Rahu conjunct Mars. And I said he could be, a director. He could work with like hardware and technology to create. And someone actually confirmed in the comments that he did direct like the last Creed movie or something like that. So this is definitely a director placement, and it's in Vishaka and Chitra. Those are both stars in Libra. So she can definitely, you already know that Venus rules Libra, right? So she's going to use this love of technology and creativity and put it in Venus things. Venus rules the arts. So she'll definitely use this. I have a strong intuition that she's definitely going to use this urge in her and put it out there in her career of the arts. Her moon is aspecting her first house. I mean, she has a lot of emotions towards how she looks. She has a real emotional tie to how she looks. It's I'm not gonna lie, Queen. It might be a little bit vain. I do see a little bit of vanity in this chart because it's a Pushya. It's Cancer. I mean, she's a Cancer ascendant, so that's the moon. That's femininity. That's the most feminine. It's not the most feminine, but it's the most beautiful placement. And she's a Hasta moon. I mean, she's a Hasta sun, and Hasta is ruled by the moon. So already she's got two moon placements right there. Then she's got her actual moon that is aspecting the first house. So first house is your body. First house is what you look like. First house is how you see yourself, what you're looking at in the mirror. It's your physicality, and her moon is aspecting it. One, it could mean that her weight fluctuates, and that she can tend to have water retention issues, like she bloats easily, stuff like that, because moon waxes and wanes. Moon manipulates the tides. Moon is connected to water. Moon is fickle. Moon does not stop. Moon is not like the planets where it'll stay in a sign for a long time. Like moon, tomorrow it's going to be in the next sign, So moon just goes up and down like that. Moon is also very intelligent. Moon is also very, she wasn't a child star, was she? Was she in movies as a kid? Because Moon and Mercury people do tend to start early, their artistic career early in life. But yeah, Moon is also intelligence. So yes, and I do wonder if she had like if her mom was like very. And now that I see that, the moon is the mother, right? So the moon is ruling her son, and Saturn is like the father figure, and Saturn is ruling her moon. So it's almost kind of like saying her mom was the dominant one or the strict one, the one that set boundaries, that one that like made you work, do your homework, go sit down. You always have that parent that's not afraid to be the bad guy. It's always out of love, but it's just like, they set the rules. And I wonder if it's the mother that did that, and then if it was her father that was like the more maternal person, because like I said, Moon is the mother and Moon is ruling her son, and Sun is the father. That's what I'm saying. Like there's a feminine energy to the son, there's a feminine energy to the father, and then there's like a masculine energy to the mother. So which is kind of saying that like energetically her parents might have like kind of switched like that, where her dad is the one maybe who did all the cooking, who did the house cleaning, and the mom was the one who kind of set the rules, stuff like that. And she definitely could get this from her mom, because she might be like kind of a ball buster like her mom. Maybe not now because she's young, but Saturn people, and she is a Saturn woman because she's a pushy ascendant. Saturn people become bosses and they have standards and they meet their own they meet their own standards and they have high standards, and a lot of times Saturn people can like pressure other people to meet up to their own standards, you know. So Saturn people, but that's because Saturn is a queen, hunty. Anna Winter is a Saturn woman. Madonna is a Saturn woman. Mariah Carey is a Saturn woman. Joan Crawford was a Saturn woman. Like the list goes on and on. What's her name? Legally Blonde. She's a Saturn woman. Reese Witherspoon. You know, like the top of the top. Kim Kardashian. Like the top of the queens, the powerful queens, all are Saturn women, and this lady is a Saturn woman, being a Pushya ascendant, and having Saturn ruling over her moon. So anyway, she has Mars aspecting her 10th, 7th, and the 11th. Okay, so on one hand, Mars aspecting the 7th. That could mean that her boyfriend or her lover or her husband or whatever will be cute, sexy. He might even be a little bit younger, cougar. But also you gotta watch out because Mars is violent. So she's gotta watch out. Make sure she doesn't attract anyone who is short tempered just because they're hot. You know what I mean? Um, but it also could mean, you know, 7th is the house of the boardroom. 7th house is the house of all relationships, not just your lovers and stuff like that. So it could mean that she is a warrior because Mars is the warrior. So it could mean that she is a warrior in the boardroom, which would make sense because she's an Uttara Ashara moon. That's very, very masculine, like I said. Um, it's also aspecting her 10th house. That's really good for business. When you have Mars aspecting your 10th house, that's good for business. It makes you, again, a killer in the boardroom. Makes you a wolf in the business, baby. You know, also just work in general, just your career. Just, you know, Mars is your passion, your virile, your vitality, and then it's aspecting her 10th house of the career. So obviously it means she puts a lot of time and energy towards her career. Also, it's aspecting the 11th house. The 11th house is groups, social groups. So she might have a kind of a bleeding heart for the general collective, for not necessarily like personal relationships, but like groups, like I don't know, breast cancer survivors or charities or, you know, stuff like that. That would be 11th house, is having that emotional connection with people who are not related to you, you know, more of the community. And she has Mars there. Mars is a warrior, and don't forget, warriors are servants. They're very aggressive servants, but they're still servants because warriors serve the king. They serve the president. You know what I mean? They follow orders. So for her to have her warrior, her inner warrior aspect in the house of groups, hopefully what it would mean is that she has a lot of compassion and drive to like help groups. I don't know how else to say it. So she's got her Sun, Mercury, and Venus aspecting the 9th house. That is very interesting because she already is making such a name for herself. She already energetically is kind of an elite. She already energetically is really, really pushed herself, you know, to this a lovely level of fame. It's not like this huge fandom, this huge stardom. It's more like a quiet kind of power. And the higher ups are really, 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 really knowing her. And so this is her Sun here, and Mercury and Venus. So this is where she puts a lot of pleasure and really gives her a lot of pride. This is also where, because she could kind of have a lot of ego, is where she places her ego. And this is the 9th house of kings and queens and presidents and priests and kind of like the elite chosen one. So this is like this isn't just celebrities. This is kind of like the celebrity of celebrities. So she might have honestly, she might have a lot of really amazing things in her future. Like I could kind of see that. It's also her Jupiter's aspect in the 9th as well. Jupiter is the planet of luck and is very expansive. Oh, I didn't write down where her Jupiter was. Oh man. Wait, where is her Jupiter? Damn, I forgot to write down what nakshatra it was. Regardless. Oh, it's in Jeshta, I think. Okay. Is it? I don't know for sure now. I don't know for sure. I don't want to make that assumption because I can't look back at the chart. Fuck. Okay. Whatever. She has Jupiter aspecting the 11th, ninth, and the 12th. It's just a lot of traveling. So much traveling. A lot of traveling. And just a lot of luck. And just being kind of in the elite. And she could have luck with yeah, she might have luck with boyfriends. She might with this status, she might. I feel like with Mars aspecting the 7th and her Jupiter aspecting the 12th, that means she's gonna get like a cute younger lover who's skinny and very sexually compatible. That's kind of the feeling that I get. And then finally, let's look at Saturn aspecting the 10th, 2nd, and the 5th. Now, her Saturn is in a multicona sign. So her Saturn is in Aquarius and it's aspecting the 10th. That's really, really, really good. On one hand, it means that she's going to go through, when it comes to her career, she's gonna have pit stops. She's gonna have things in her career that's gonna like push her back or make her really, 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 truly work for it and earn it. Luckily for her, her Saturn is in its own sign. So her Saturn is working the strongest. You need a good Saturn if you're going to be successful in life. Also, let's not forget her Saturn is the lord of her ascendant because she's a Pushya ascendant. Now that's a Cancer ascendant, but the nakshatra of Pushya is ruled by Saturn, and her Saturn is in the best possible spot. So that's really good. So that means she's a workhorse. That means she's going to do what she's got to do. Because not only does she have Mars aspecting her 10th house of career, but she has Saturn aspecting her 10th house career. Those are two malefics in the aspect of the 10th house of career. You better be scared of her, queen. Be scared of her. And it's aspecting her 5th house of the arts, of her expression, of how she expresses herself, being an actress. Yeah, but they're in the second house. It's also aspecting the second house. Again, when Saturn is aspecting the second house, but it's also a really good Saturn. It's like saying you kind of almost had a military like upbringing. You had such a strict upbringing, because Saturn is a denier and a delayer, not because they're mean people, but because they want you to have discipline, because you know that saying freedom lives inside of discipline. It's kind of like that. It's kind of, especially with the mom. Like, especially with the mom. The mom holds it down. Um, yeah, but that's it. It's very, like I said, it's a very strong chart. I do see directing. I expect her to be a director. And I do see writing. And I do see beauty. Oh, the other thing was she has Rahu and Mars in her 4th house. That's so interesting. I wouldn't, don't be surprised, because she's already leaning heavy into the makeup, into the exploring her femininity. I love that for her because she's very pretty. But it's the only thing is that her in her early movies like Bottoms, she was not playing a pretty girl. And I'm not saying that objectively. I'm not saying that subjectively. I'm saying that objectively. Like literally people were calling her ugly in the movie, stuff like that. What was my point? Oh, but she has Rahu in the 4th house. 4th house is the house of beauty, and Rahu is all about illusion. And she's got Mars in there, which is where you put your energy. So don't be surprised if you see her loving makeup, if you just see her absolutely just dolling herself out. Don't be surprised. Honestly, I'm just going to say it. Don't be surprised if she starts getting surgeries and stuff like that, because I mean, you know who else has Rahu in the 4th house? RuPaul. But that makes sense because Rahu, like I said, is illusion, and RuPaul is a drag queen, and she's wonderful with makeup. She loves he loves femininity. So that's the thing. It's like you kind of wouldn't notice the way she is because she's such a, first of all, she's a Hasta's son. Hasta's son can be so humble. They actually can dress down. And they also, you know what's cool about Hasta? These women, they look at their imperfections. They look at the things that, whatever, that are not conventionally, celebrated, in contemporary society. They'll take that, they'll take that feature and make it like the focal point of their outfit because they just have an inner light. Not only does Hasta have an inner light, it's the most solar nakshatra of all of moon nakshatras. Not only does she have inner light from her Hasta sun, but like I said, Uttarashada is such a solar energy. So this is someone who not only does have beauty placements, but this is like what I was saying when I first started the video. She has such like a high valor, high honor that she wouldn't care if she was beautiful or not. That's kind of the thing about Uttarashada. She might have been very boyish as a kid though. Like maybe her parents tried to make her all girly and so she knows about girly stuff, but then she was super boyish because Sun women, when they're little girls, they're like dirty and they scrape their knees and they're, stuff like that. They're crazy. They're funny. Okay, guys, I think that's enough. All right, bye.